Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Chrono Trigger. I am Mega Freak 400, and in this episode we are going to fight Flea, the magician. Now the thing with Flea is he has a ton of stats, elements, attacks. And I haven't really talked much about them. You can get them, heal them with, I think, heal. And basically you have like sleep, that means you can't move and you can't do anything until you get attacked. Poison drains your HP. Blind makes it hard to attack. Berserk makes you attack your own enemies sometimes, or your own friends sometimes, and sometimes the enemy as well. You have no control over the character. Similar to the Berserker item, but the Berserker item makes it so you attack the enemy all the time. And there's more. I can't remember all of them. But stats damage really don't play that big of a part, to be honest. I mean, it could be a little worrisome in this battle, but I don't see them playing that big of an issue. Unlike with Pokemon stats elements can really screw you over. Of course, then again, you also have only one character, so if your one character is asleep, well, you're screwed. Unlike in this game, if your one character is asleep, well, you have two others who can attack. Which is again why I think three-person battles could be interesting, because can't you use items on the character when there's... I mean, you have two-player battles, you can do the same thing, but I think three almost would make it more RPG-ish. I've already talked about this, but I'm going to talk about it again, because I'm awesome. Anyway, yeah, Flea's not that bad, just be wary. There's Blind right there. So Frog will have a hard time attacking Flea, though it doesn't make that big of a difference. So yeah, Flea is the sweet transvestite from... though Tim Curry is an awesome actor. Like, no matter what he plays, he makes really weird villains, and he also makes awesome British dudes like Nigel Thornberry, who likes kippers. In fact, I only know what kippers are because of Nigel Thornberry. So anyway, what to talk about? Discussions, debates, whatever. And maybe I'm wrong in even thinking this, but I don't think people understand, what a good discussion is. Maybe not debate, but what a good discussion is. When I like to discuss things, for the most part, I like to, have a good discussion consists of two people talking. They have opposing viewpoints. Usually, you don't want people talking. You can have people, but I'm talking about like a discussion between two people who have opposite viewpoints, or somewhat opposite viewpoints. With that discussion, you want each person to give their own opinion, but not be like too forceful in their opinion. Try and give the other person your counters to their examples, and vice versa, and also be listening to what they're saying. And a good discussion ends with both parties coming to somewhat of a concession, somewhat of an agreement, as in that they don't necessarily agree together, but they agree on parts, like saying, well, I agree, you were right on that point, I will concede that you were right on that point, but at the same time, you also, well, and not you wouldn't say that, but the other person at the same time would also learn something or agree with what you were saying. So it's basically a learning experience to an extent. Discussions are supposed to, increase your ability to see other perspectives, because the thing with opinions is they are formed due to perspective. They're formed depending on how you're raised. If we were all raised exactly 100% perfectly the same, more than likely, I'm not saying we'd be exactly the same, but we'd be a lot similar than how we are now. Most people are very different. Most people have different personalities, and they have different opinions, and a lot of those are formed, of course, a lot of this is sociology stuff, but a lot of those are formed because of the different environments. Now there could be people who just are straight psychologists saying no. It has there's a whole nature versus nurture debate on which is more important, and honestly they're both important. Nature as in DNA, being born that way, and nurture. And honestly, I think nurture has a bigger role in personality than nature does. Because honestly, depending on how you grew up and depending on how the environment you were raised in, you're going to have a different, opinion and different perspective and different personality than people who grew up in a completely different environment and different way. So because of that, we start to get opinions and differing opinions. And part of the handicap is you can't always see it from the perspective of someone else, no matter how hard you try. And with discussions, that helps you try and gain a new perspective on the situation by listening to someone else. And if you're gonna keep attacking them as if, well, I'm gonna keep my opinion and I'm going to defend it and I'm going to keep it 100% straightforward and not let anyone else change it, well, then you're not really going to gain anything. It's just going to be like, this discussion is just going to be about, debating and arguing about whose opinion is better, and it's going to result in just, nothing. You're not going to gain anything from it, and you're not really going to lose anything either. It's just going to be a pointless discussion because neither party is willing to listen. Now, and when I do discussions, I sometimes don't always appear to be listening. It depends on the situation, but again, I really do honestly listen to everything. I just sometimes, it takes me longer to actually realize, the people's points sometimes. Like, I'll be laying in bed or just, sitting down and thinking and being like, they did have a good point. I actually do agree with that. That actually makes sense. Because in the heat of the moment, you sometimes forget exactly what, you sometimes don't always listen to what's, people's opinions, people's facts sometimes. But yeah, it's, it just feels like debates have become more, probably because of actual debates, but they've become more of a contest on who can, be better at defending their opinion, and that's not how discussion should be. You don't improve yourself, you don't improve your intelligence, you don't gain anything by just having a debate or having basically a fight between opinions. You don't gain anything from that. And I got the mist robe, which is a feminine robe that can only be worn by females. And it's Ozzie. I grow tired of this. Slash. Flea. Sorry, they're dead. They can't help you now. You fly-eating, tongue-flicking Ozzie's in a jam. It's the Wizard of Oz. No, so yeah, Ozzie basically is a coward. He just keeps running away. This room, I screwed up here, but basically just watch out for the blades. It's not that hard to dodge. However, I did mess up on one of them, stupidly. So yeah, this whole section is basically Ozzie's section, as in you just basically keep running through the fortress, and Ozzie keeps trying to prevent you from going any further. And yeah, that's it. Ozzie is really just a really big coward. He doesn't have any real strength, unlike Flea, who is a magician, and Slash, who has the ability to be good at using the sword. Or, yeah, he's a swordsman. Yeah, so I got hit there. So, again, Magus' castle wasn't that bad. But yeah, with discussion, it's like... And I know I'm guilty of it sometimes, but I do try and reconsider things occasionally, just not always at the heat of the moment, because it was the heat. Okay, I'm gonna stop singing because it's going to make people's ears bleed. I wish I was a great singer. I wish I did. I'm not really good at hearing tone though. Like, to me, when I sing, I sound really good. I sound like a professional singer. I sound like Kelly Clarkson. No, but whenever I, tone deaf, can't really always hear exactly how it actually sounds. So I might be singing and I sound like Susan Boyle, but when someone else hears it, it sounds like William Hung. So, though I'm honestly not that bad. There are definitely worse singers. My brother is probably a worse singer than I am. Though I don't know if he's always just, always doing it on purpose, personally. But anyway, yeah, you want to come down in this room. You want to fall in the trap at least once, because down here, after you kill these these skeleton dudes, there are 4 things around the room. One is a save point. 2 of them are enemies that can't hurt you, but you can gain experience from them, so that's pretty useful. There's also items in this room. And one of them is a warp point back up. Now, what you'll see, and I cut some of it out, was I wanted to get to the save point and possibly fight the enemies, and I eventually did do both of those, but I kept getting the warp point every single time. The first one I chose was the warp point, so that kind of like annoyed me that I kept choosing the right one, so I kept falling down and go back down here. Falling down here is really not a big deal, though. Again, there's not, once you kill the descendants, there's not really anything negative about it, and if you get the enemies, they can't hurt you, so you'll just get free experience. And the lapis heals 200 HP to everyone, and before we saw the barrier, I didn't mention what the barrier does. The barrier is a magical defense item. I think we get one here, maybe. Yeah, barrier increases your defense against magic. I think 1/3. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So it's not that hard to get through this room, but again, I kept trying to fall to get to the save point, but I kept messing up. I kept getting the warp point. So here we have these enemies. What are their names? Do they have a name? They are nothing. So these guys can't hurt you to my knowledge, so they're just free experience. Which, why the heck Ozzie would have these guys attack you is, look, I'm going to make this magical thing that can make our foes powerful, but they're not going to be able to hurt them at all. So yeah, that was the smart move. But whatever. Maybe this room is a training room, but by that logic, why do you throw us down in here? Maybe like a training room for Magus' troops. So yeah, I killed those two guys, so let's go up. And I'm out of time, so next time we will continue our chase against chasing Ozzie. So this has been Mega Freak for 100, reminding you that ciao.